All right, we're going to get started in just a moment. If you have any genius questions, we can deal with them at the end. So if you have any questions or new discoveries for us, you're certainly welcome to ask those. And we're going to get started, like I said, in just a second. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and for being part of class today. Really fun presentation. Like I said, I want to bring you some new technologies, and we have a new technology to share with you today, which I think you're going to absolutely love. So let's see if we can find our panelist as well in just a moment. I'm going to bring her up as a panelist and then we'll introduce her. So thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, so Patty, you're going to see yourself become a panelist, but just wait until you turn on your screen and your sound. Just give me a moment to introduce you, but thank you so much for being here. It's just a pleasure to have you. All right, so we've got hello from Ontario. Marianne is here. Hello, Riesa from High River, Alberta. And Dr. Jacqueline is here waiting for her remedy plate, special remedy plate. We're going to share more about those coming up. We're going to have another remedy plate class, a quantum capsule class, new practitioner level 1 class, just lots of exciting things. Tomorrow, please join Benet for our Gems and Pearls class that happens on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. And she will be talking about why it is important to balance your blood sugar. So even if you are not diabetic or even if you're not overweight, actually balancing your blood sugar is an anti-aging practice. And we're going to talk about why it is so important to pay close attention to your blood sugar and balance it no matter what age or weight you are. So check that out, and you get a free library tomorrow for hanging out with Benet. And if you need that link, we'll give it out shortly. So thank you so much for checking out our Gems and Pearls class and getting that free library. Okay, we're going to talk today about a really cool technology. It's called the Magnetex, and it runs some very cool toroidal energy that I want to talk to you about. So right now we're going to bring on the person who has figured out how to do this and how to bring it to the public. So I want to introduce Patty McAllister. Now, she's not going to be joining us by video, I forgot. You're just going to be joining us by audio. So as she talks, I have some pictures to show you. So let's go ahead and just ask her to unmute and talk with her here. All right. Patty, how are you? Oh, we're not there you go.
Okay, is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to discover this technology.
Well, I've been very lucky, led a very blessed life, and I started out in frequency work. I guess my first experience was with Reiki, and then I taught that for a few years and went into crystallotherapy, and I taught that for a few years, and other modalities that are pretty way out there. And then the technology started coming, and you and I have talked about a lot of that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And by that time, I totally understood that everything is just energy. You know, it's frequency and energy. And so I started working with quite a few practitioners with different technology they had, and ran the office for acupuncturists for a while and learned how to use the Computron. And we did so well at the office, he was able to buy a GDV and got to run that. And then I ended up
which is like the BioWell or the Kirlian photography that looks at your fingers and then tells you about your meridians and your chakras.
Correct. Fascinating technology. And then I opened and ran the alternative medicine division for an MD here in Houston. And it's like the technology and the people I need to meet, just like you, seem to come to my door. You know, they come to me and I pay attention and I just love it. So I have to I try everything and send it to people that I admire, that I know are going to be honest with me, and get their opinions on stuff. And years ago, I was presented with a piece of technology. Actually, it was to test it for a practitioner. And she just wanted to know what I thought of it. And we loved it. We absolutely loved it. So we started working with that technology for a while. And for reasons I won't go into, that just went away. And it was very similar to the Magnetex, but we couldn't get any more of them. So I had so many people calling me wanting to get a Magnetex. It wasn't called Magnetex at the time. That's so many years ago, I can't even remember what it's called. But I finally just said, God, if I'm supposed to help people with this, then you better send an engineer to my door, because I don't have a clue, where to go from here. And it probably was like 2 weeks later, and I was talking to a practitioner friend, and she wanted a Magnetex, and I said, I can't get them anymore. And I told her I had asked for an engineer to be sent to my door, and she goes, I know just the person. I love it how things work out. So, excuse me. They took the machine, and it took quite a while, because they said, no, we can't sell it as it is. It needs these improvements, and this for effectiveness, and this for safety, or whatever. And finally, we came up with the Magnetex as it is today. And I'm sure the people that are on your podcast can understand. We can't make claims. I'm not a doctor. And until they open up natural medicine, please God, let it be soon, we can't really do any serious published work. So right now, and if they want to look at you guys on the call, if you want to look at the website, we have testimonials there, quite a few practitioners. But we're getting our feedback.
What made you, this is the Magnetex right here, and we're going to talk about it, and I have it right here as well. What was the genius behind these magnets in here? Because these seem very special. And my understanding from reading your website is that you use something like a negative and a positive pole, something very different that's usually used with magnets. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so there's lots of magnetic research out there, and I'm sure many of you have tried magnets. For some reason, I was never attracted to them. I just couldn't understand how you could pull a pole of one face of a magnet on the body and leave it there for any length of time and have it be good. I didn't understand it, maybe. I don't know. But I just never used them. Well, this particular configuration of very strong magnets literally is a push-pull force, the way that we have them located inside the machine.
Okay.
And it's proprietary. And when it spins, instead of just giving you a negative or a positive, it gives you the feel that you're showing on the screen right now.
That is amazing. You could feel it when you use it. It's very unique.
It's very unique. And I looked and looked and looked for research on toroidal fields being thrown, by some sort of technology in health. I couldn't find any. Not to say they're not out there, but that's not the way that they're listed with Google, because I couldn't find any research.
And wouldn't it make sense that you would have a technology that would use, we were just showing some slides that you reveal that the toroidal field is that most powerful source around your heart, right? Way higher than your brain. And also that the toroidal field is in, all around. You see it in nature. It's in the tornado. It's in the field around the earth. It's in the atmosphere around the earth. They even say that if hollow earth exists, that it's probably in the shape of a toroidal field. Isn't it interesting that there's never been any technology that has attempted to use the healing power or the dynamic power of the toroidal field until now.
Well, I would love to think that we're the only ones in the world, but do you know it is possible that people have discovered it
Hmm.
and published and it was taken off the market?
I wouldn't be surprised. So it's going to
Okay.
entrain, that energy is going to entrain coherence and order, and I would think a tremendous amount of benefit into the body as a result.
Well, you know, the guys that made the movie Thrive, that and I saw that movie shortly after we started marketing the Magnetex. They believe that that toroidal field is life force. It's very interesting, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. It's like the body gets charged somehow, not
Hmm.
electrically, okay, but magnetically. When you use the Magnetex, even if you have no symptoms presenting, okay, you think you're really, really healthy. And after you use it, you just feel better.
That's been my experience. I've been kind of blown away because I took a chance. We talked. I took a chance by ordering it, and I was like, I don't know. I love to look into new technology, but I had this terrible, and of course we can't make any claims, but I did have this terrible fasciitis, and it went away in a couple of sessions. Like, it was pretty cool. Like, it's almost like this thing melts things away. And I know that Nina Silver in her book has recommended this specifically for, like, the lymphatics. Do you know why it potentially, even though we can't make claims, would work well for the lymphatics?
Well, if the body is genius, which I believe it was built, to run perfectly, then my thoughts are that it just kind of either wakes up the cells or charges them somehow to do what they need to do. I'm not sure that the Magnetex itself is like sucking toxins out of the lymphatic system. I think the lymphatic system is like, oh, you don't belong here, and just start spitting them out. And we even have a warning in our brochure or our little booklet. If you're on a lot of medications or you're highly toxic, start slow, because it can be, you know, pretty quick detox, which sometimes is not comfortable. But
Well, yeah, you had mentioned that. And well, it seems like if you're showing that toroidal field to the body, then it's going to go into an sort of an instantaneous realignment. Maybe that's what's happening.
well, realignment's an interesting word, because if you notice on our website, um, we have a picture of a GDV results on 4 people. And if any of you on the call have ever done any chakra work and you understand what the chakra system is, getting chakras in alignment is not an easy job. Acupuncturists will even tell you it's a long haul to get them straightened out. And we did before and afters with a GDV on the Magnetex when we were doing our initial studies on people that had never had it used on them. They had no idea what they were coming for. They're friends of mine. And it took chakras that were all over the place and almost virtually lined them up with one session, which the acupuncturist I ran the office for, when I called him and told him, he said, that's impossible. That can't happen. And I sent him the pictures and I went, I'm just telling you, it can happen. So as far as alignment, your chakras are your energy system. Well, every cell has its own energy system. So yes, alignment might have a lot to do with it.
That's really interesting. We're going to play that video that you made in just a moment. Let me just bring it over here and just tell us a little bit about what was going on here. Let me see if I can get it into the frame. Oh, I got it right in the frame. Okay, so let me bring it here. All right. So yeah, all of this is so exciting. I love learning about new technology. We have a few questions that we're going to answer as well. And then we have a special offer for you guys if you want. which you won't see again. So tell us about what you visualized here.
Well, the first time I used the technology, I actually saw a toroidal field in my head, and I'm not a visionary. It's the first time that ever happened to me. So I set out to prove that it either was or wasn't that kind of field. And this was not my first try. I used iron shavings and all sorts of stuff. And a friend of mine had told me about ferrofluid, which is liquid magnetic fluid. And I just poured it on top of a paper plate, believe it or not, and put the machine under it, and up pops a toroidal field.
Well, let's see it in real time here.
Okay. What you can see, and you can slow this down on the website, but what you can see is that the fluid is coming up from the inside, going to the outside, and spinning at the
That's
same time.
amazing. What, how did you
So
take this picture? You're just underneath it?
ferrofluid on the paper plate and the Magnetex under the paper plate.
Oh, it's crazy. See it, we'll see it again.
And
Um,
it's also, if you really look at it, it's a double toroidal field, because you can see, if you really look closely, there's another one underneath this one going the other direction.
that's
It's
incredible,
crazy.
actually.
It's crazy.
Just turn the sound off there. So we just did it in slow motion. Um, no, that's absolutely incredible. It just has, that's why I wanted to share it with people because it has there's nothing else really like this that's out there. And
Not
you're
that I know of.
so quiet, like nobody really knows about it, but it's actually something so special.
Well, do you mind me going into why they don't know about it?
Yes, please.
I mean, because I'm sure you deal with this all the time. Um, there's a lot of incredible technology that is researched and published and released only to be taken off the market and hidden. We live in crazy times right now, and virtually you're not allowed to have anything that works. You know,
Right.
if you,
They're gonna come and visit you if you have something that works.
right. So we're quiet. We're underground. We're referral only. And as a matter of fact, if you go to order, I put a special page up for you,
Yeah,
to
I have the link to share with everybody. I wanted to wait until we were ready for that, but we have you guys like this is usually $1,200 and you can get on the website Magnetex, I think .org at any time. And we have a special link for you to get it for 1150, which is only going to be good for 48 hours. It's just a special arrangement I was able to do with Patty because I wanted all my genius peeps to be able to get this at a special pricing. So we're going to share that link. And it's also in that blog post that I just shared. Now, Patty, I want to make sure that I mention, you do mention that this shouldn't be used for people with pacemakers. Can you talk a little bit about the contraindications?
Yeah, you can't use magnetics, around pacemakers because they affect the way they work.
Right.
I've had people ask me about um, metal implants, and those are titanium. And I always tell you to ask your practitioner if you can use magnets around your implant, and they'll tell you yes. But I think the easiest way to know is if you can have an MRI, you can use the Magnetex.
If you
So,
can have an MRI, then you could use the Magnetex.
correct, because that's, magnetic therapy, the MRI or technology.
So, there was a specific question here about can it be useful for breast mass, kidney tumor, autoimmune, ankylosing spondylitis, autonomic nervous system imbalance? So now, of course, we can't make any claims. Has anybody ever reported, should it not be used for anybody who has cancer? Is that a contraindication?
No, I've never had any contraindications show up. I've got practitioners that do use it on their patients, but like I said, I think it's just waking the cells up, and I won't go into it because I'm sure you've got specialists that come on and talk about it, but there are so many remedies out right now, natural remedies for cancer, and things are fixing to change really quickly in that arena.
Say that again. I didn't quite get that part.
There's a lot of natural remedies that are coming to the surface because people are not as afraid to talk about them right.
Oh, okay, I totally got you. So it may become more well known. Now, there was a question about can you use it with metal fillings? Of course, that's not a problem. If you have mercury fillings, you can still use this. That's not going to be a big deal.
It's not a problem.
And then they said, by our conversation, can you use it with MRI compatible pacemakers? That's an interesting twist on the question right there.
Well, I've never had that question before. If you have
Oh,
an MRI compatible pacemaker, then my guess is, and this is, I'm not saying it's true, I'm guessing at this because I've never had it before, that I would feel comfortable using it, but I wouldn't sit there and hold it right over where the pacemaker
yeah,
is.
that makes more sense. Like if you use it around the rest of the body and keep it away, that would make a lot more sense. You just keep it at a distance. And really, anywhere that you use this is going to have benefit. And I wanted to ask you, you have these interesting pictures in the manual. Can you just tell us a little bit about why you recommend some of this use, like down the back, what we're hoping, effect we're hoping to have?
Well, we're kind of following energy patterns in the body.
Okay.
And I want to give Dr. Nina Silver credit for doing that because
Okay.
when I told her I was going to try to write a manual up, I was just having a conversation one day. She went, "Well, I'll do it for you," because she loved the Magnetex so much.
Right.
So I actually got Dr. Nina Silver to do, I didn't get her to, she offered to do our manual. And what better person, energy wise, to understand the movement of energy in the body. So this is a sample, okay, because people wanted instructions. So this is a sample of how you can use it. And you
Right.
can follow this every time you want to use it, or as you use it, there might be other things, other ways that you want to use it. It's not set in stone, but it just gives you a guideline of how to do it. Do you have a lot of energy workers in your group?
Oh, we're all, yeah, everybody here, we use the biofeedback system, which is the Genius biofeedback system. So they all use a quantum biofeedback tool. So they're very familiar with energy.
Okay. So if you feel energy, okay, because some people just until they're made aware of it, don't feel it. But as
Right.
long as you feel energy, pay real close attention to how your energy flows in your brain when you use it. Of course, they can all come to you and have it used on them, but and also I think I told you this, that at the end of a session, if you'll put your foot up against the cap of the Magnetex for maybe just 10 seconds,
No,
but
say that again. If you put your foot up to this,
to the cap
what's the
at,
cap?
at the end of the session,
Okay.
not that, no, the cap is the white part
Okay.
of it. That's the part that faces the body. But you're actually just going to, I lay it on the bed. You can press your foot up against it. Gently.
Okay.
You don't have to use any pressure with the Magnetex.
Oh, it's going right to the kidney 1 point then.
Okay. So when you put your foot there, I want you to pay really close attention to how far up your leg you feel the energy, not the
That's really
vibration.
cool.
Okay. The energy. And as you use the Magnetex more and more, you will feel that energy higher and higher and higher until, after a period of time, you'll feel the energy go all the way through your body and out your head.
That's really cool. It's like charging up the cells in your body. And every time you do it, you're entraining that divine energy of the toroidal field over and over again into your body. So you're going to create this powerful coherence, this restoration to optimal function. And I'm just guessing, I'm just free forming. Does that sound about right about why
Wow.
you
Yeah,
get
that's the
benefit?
greatest analogy I've ever heard, but it does make perfect sense. It
And
does make perfect sense.
because people will ask, people are, asking, will it help with bone cancer? Will it help with Lyme? And the answer is, of course, we can't make claims, but potentially yes, because when you're changing that frequency a lot of those other things can fall away because the overarching frequency becomes one of health and vibrancy. And so those things may fall away as a result.
Well, and I wouldn't even begin to claim that as a singular device, but
Hmm.
I know that your whole theory involves total health. So as long as you're doing the other things to support the body, because number one, our bodies are extremely toxic. There's very few people I know that live out in the middle of nowhere and don't breathe dirty air and drink dirty water and eat dirty food. Um, and you use everything in combination, then my thought is that the Magnetex is just getting the body to wake up, to be aware, to know what to do with all that. Does
That's
that
really
make
cool.
sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. You're waking up the body to its really restoration to its natural state of being. That's really cool. There was a question here. What is the return policy? What can you tell us about that?
Okay, this is interesting. The return policy does not involve any health results because we can't make any claims.
Right.
You understand why?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. Everybody on here
unless
does.
I go to
Everybody here
hell.
is very, very familiar with and if somebody did ask about how to use it, I will do a free class for anybody who gets and tell you how I'm using it and some recommendations, but it's pretty easy. You just basically see it's not plugged in at the moment, but you just basically push this button to turn it on. It is extremely easy to use. You can use it on yourself. You can have somebody use it with you, friend, if they want to do the back. I love this little infinity piece you have on the kidneys. That's so powerful. I can tell you it's extremely relaxing. Like I said, I was surprised at the results because we do use so many different technologies. This one was very unique. It was very quick to, for me personally, give me relief of like a chronic fascial issue went away very, very quickly, released and just sort of melted away. And that really blew me away because you told me something similar to that when we talked on the phone, and I was like, well, you never know, and I'll give it a try. But I was really impressed when I tried it, and I did have very quick results.
Well, somebody, do you mind if I ask a question or
Yeah,
answer a
go ahead. Yeah,
question
go
that I
ahead.
noticed
Yeah.
came up? Somebody asked about PMF, and you just have to understand this field is totally different.
Oh, that's cool. That's great for
It,
people to know. Yeah.
it's working in a totally different way. Okay, I think they're both really great technologies, but I don't think one replaces the other.
In
Okay.
how, do you have any sense of how to explain how they might be different or even how this one might be superior just in your, you know, just sort of your intuitive feeling about it?
The pulsed field is not a toroidal field.
Okay.
In the conversation, we could go into positive,
Yep.
negative,
And the
and
toroidal field is really special.
I think that's the reason it works the way it does. And I
It
don't know if people caught, Ariel, when you were talking about when you used it the first time and it felt good. But this
yeah.
is the only technology I know of that when you put it on yourself or you put it on other people, the first reaction is just, ah.
Yeah, it's very calming. It feels like it works directly on the central nervous system in a way that's restorative.
It might. As soon as the field loosens up and I can go out and do some real serious research, we'll totally understand why it's doing what it's doing. But like I said, I am underground big time. It's referral only, guys. I don't advertise.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's why we're doing this today. So what about the sound? Is it quiet? It makes a small humming noise, but it really is not very noisy at all. Can you use it directly on tumors? I mean, I wouldn't do that. I probably would use it around the body. I mean, the tumor is a sign of toxicity. It's a sign of excess stress that something is starting to wall itself off. It's a way that the body is trying to deal with, liver overload, toxin overload, hormonal imbalance. So what you want to think about is making the rest of the body return to a healthy frequency, and then think about that tumor on its own beginning to melt away or disintegrate. So there's no need to work directly on the tumor. Patty, do you have something you want to add to that?
No, I agree totally. And I would not put it on the skin where the tumor is because I don't think because this does have a subtle vibration to it, and that's to increase circulation. But if I were going to use it on a tumor, I would hold it like an inch above the body, just to get the cells to wake up. But one thing I've got to say, and it's true for all of us, just not somebody dealing with a serious indication like that, is that we really have to pay attention to the lymphatic system. If you don't have time to do your whole body, then you just make sure you do the lymph system every day.
So when you're saying the lymph system, so you take it and either it will work if you hold it close to the skin, but actually not touching the skin, or touching the skin. You can do it through clothing as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. We prefer that you just rest it on the skin. You don't use any pressure, just rest it on the skin, because that vibration is going to increase all the circulation around where the magnetic field is working.
Oh, that's incredible. That's
Yeah, I've got
incredible.
two practitioners in England that really specialize in detox, and they use the Magnetex on every patient they have.
Wow. And what would be, do they do something similar to what we're seeing on the screen? Do they have a particular order of where they use it?
I've asked them that, and they've said that every patient is different.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I asked for them to send me videos, but they're busy. They don't.
Okay.
So
What about someone, so somebody said, what does it weigh? Is it heavy? I can hold it easily with one
three and a
hand.
half pounds.
What is it?
3.5 pounds.
It's very easy to move around and use. I use it on myself all the time. Somebody said, does it work remotely? It does not work remotely. It's something that has to be
No.
in person. But think about using this for yourself. So somebody said, it's not my business plan. My business plan is only remote. And that's fine. This may not be for everybody. I want to bring it to those who, personally, I like to have things that I use on myself to charge myself up, to keep myself healthy. And this just felt like, given what I've been dealing with some foot stuff, with some Achilles tendon stuff, it just felt really important. But for me, it's added energy and vitality to my entire body as a result of using it. And somebody said, can you use it for somebody who's getting dialysis?
I wouldn't do it while they're getting dialysis, but
Right.
can you imagine the freak out? Um,
Okay, but anyway, for somebody who needs dialysis, it's fine to use it at home in between the
yes,
sessions.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And there was a good question actually. Would this toroidal field, okay, be able to be captured by the genius and added to our frequency library? Yes, but there are some things, like you could add food to the genius, because the genius, you can program some things in, some frequencies, but we don't want to eat our meals by running genius frequencies. There's some things that we actually want to experience as actual therapies. But I think they were more like, so it's proprietary. You figured out the combination of the magnets that, to your surprise, emanate this toroidal field. You kind of stumbled upon it accidentally, it sounds like.
It was. I call it a gift from God, and that's another reason I'm so protective of it.
Hmm.
I'm really careful to keep it
Yeah,
quiet
I
until
understand. We've done that a
we can
bit.
release it. And then Katie barred the door. And I noticed somebody just asked about eyes, ears, that type of thing. Um, I love to use it on my head, my eyes. Now, when I do my eyes, I do not hold the actual machine to my eye. I just
Hmm.
hold it in front of my eyes.
Hmm. Oh, that's really cool. I haven't
Okay.
done that yet. Has anybody reported that's improved their vision?
I think it's kept mine from getting worse.
Okay. Okay, that's
Uh,
exciting. That's really cool. Okay, so yeah, so we talked about, so you could do it either, you could hold this sort of right in front like this. Is that
correct,
how you do it? Or
correct,
can you put it right above? You
correct.
could also do it probably right above. And you could probably do it right behind the occiput too, because you've got the whole optic chiasm with a whole bunch of nerves back behind the head.
When I do a session, that's where I start.
Okay, yeah.
And then I
So
come
back
down
here.
the shoulders,
Uh-huh. Well, that's a great
where
idea.
people are holding all that stress,
Yep.
and then do the back thing. And I use it on my head all the time, and I actually put it on my head.
So just right on top of you, you can actually just put it right like
I'd
that.
go all the way around my head. Okay,
Okay.
I
And
move it
so,
around my head. And if you'll use it on your third eye and just gently press it to your forehead right there,
hmm,
you'll feel it pulsing. It
that's
is
really cool.
crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a
But
fun, just a fun to discover how to use it. But you don't really need to be particularly careful. Like everybody's saying, like, should you be careful around the vital organs? I've actually, because I've had some lung stuff, I've actually put it right over the, your lungs go all the way up to here, and I've put it right over the lungs right here, and I've had no issue. But is there anything around any organ near the heart? Is there anything that you need to be careful or cautious of?
um, this is probably being overcautious, but I've always said don't sit there and just hold it on the heart.
Hmm.
And the reason I say that is from my energy medicine background, because the heart has a very strong magnetic pulse. Okay, the brain is electrical, the heart is electromagnetic. So why would I want to interfere with natural rhythm and harmony? Do you see what I mean? So when I do my front side, I'll go down straight down the neck, down the middle of my body, go over my heart, and then come up and start doing the lymph. But I don't sit there and hold it on my heart. I just don't want to compete with the energy your body is producing. Do you see what I mean? It might be fine. I don't know, but I don't have any way to check it right now.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not going to hurt you. You have to understand it's not like the magnetic field is not so strong that it's going to give you damage. It's not, it's just going to support you. That's it. If you have something I use it for, and I take lots of magnesium, and I know y'all are going to tell me to take that, but I do take many forms of magnesium. But I'll get leg cramps. And sometimes, well, they used to be so bad that I would limp for several days. It felt like it was going to rip the muscle off the tendons, but this will stop a cramp like that immediately. It's crazy.
No, that's amazing. What about that experience that that gentleman, wasn't he the guy who works out a lot or
Oh,
he's
the weightlifter.
the weightlifter? Yeah.
Yeah, this guy went, he just to let all y'all know, he couldn't grip anything for over a year. And he was a highly competitive weightlifter. So he couldn't lift weights. And these people go crazy. It's like a runner. When they can't run, they go crazy.
Right.
Okay, so he was miserable. His trainer happened to be a friend of mine who asked me if I would use some Magnetex on him just to see if it would help him. And he said that he had been to every doctor imaginable, thinking at first that it was carpal tunnel, but it wasn't carpal tunnel. He went to acupuncture, he went to chiropractors, everything. So he came to the house, and bless his heart, this guy is huge, maybe 6'5". I don't know how much he weighed. He was huge. And he came to the door like a little kid, and he said, "Are you going to fix me?" He was so sweet. I said, "I have no idea, but I'm not going to hurt you. And it'll
Right.
feel really good. So let's see." So he stood up, and I literally did his back and his legs and hips and everything while he was standing. And then he turned around and I did the front. Then I had him sit on a sofa, and I had him put his hand over that white cap, for the arm that had the excruciating pain. And then I did his wrist, I did his elbow, I did under his arm again the second time, and his shoulder. And when I got through, he raised his hand and made a fist over his head, and he looked kind of funny. And I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "There's no pain." And we were both squealing. I was like, "What? I am so happy for you." And it bless his heart, he said, "I'm buying one. I don't care what they cost." He's thinking they're like 20 grand or something. So Anyway, I was tickled pink and he bought one and I knew it would take 4 or 5 days to get to him. So, so I waited 2 or 3 weeks to call. And trust me, I don't call y'all. If you order a Magnetex, I'm not going to call and check on you. But he was referred from a friend.
Yeah.
So I called him. It was 2 to 3 weeks later, and it was like 7 or 8 at night. And I said, I'm not trying to bother you. I just want to know how you're feeling. And he goes, no pain. And I said, oh my God, thank God. I'm so happy for you. And I said, if you don't mind, please tell me how often you're using it and how long each time. Because I'm trying to make notes and do kind of backwards research. You see,
Right.
without going out in the public and literally doing research. And he said, well, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I work long hours and I live in a condominium and it's still at the main office. And if you ask me right now how that happened, I can't tell you. I don't know, but I witnessed it. It happened.
I know. I could tell just from the way it worked on me. I was very, very impressed because I've not been able to get rid of that Achilles and fasciitis pain even with acupuncture. And it was like the last sort of piece that because I've been getting both of my feet were had issues, and when it went away, it's like it was amazing, and that's why I wanted to share it with everybody. And I do think you need the physical piece, you guys, even though people are talking about turning it into frequency, I think you actually need the physical piece. So there is we didn't get to the answer. What is it, like a 30-day return window if people are just like, oh, this didn't do anything for me? What is the
No,
policy?
no. And I know it's risky, guys, but I can tell you in the 20 years I've been doing this, I've never had a return. I've never
Okay.
had anybody argue with me,
Okay.
I want to send it back. But I
Okay.
cannot take it back for no results because I'm not promising any results. But if
Okay.
there's anything wrong with the machine, physically or whatever,
Hmm.
um, and for that reason, you want to get rid of it, then I totally understand. But
I
I've
wouldn't,
had,
you guys, I really wouldn't recommend it if I didn't think it would have any significant results for you. As you know, we don't come on here every day and talk about products. We usually talk about the genius and how to use it. But for Energy and Frequency Hour, I want to bring you things that I think are absolutely spectacular. So that is why Patty is here and why I wanted to talk to you about it. If you have any doubts and it's not for you, like that's okay. But if you have an intuition or a gut feeling about it and you want to give it a try, there's actually we giving you part of the referral that normally we get for referring because I just want everybody in the community to have something to motivate them if they want to get it. This will just be a price for a couple of days, and then it'll be the regular 1,200 on Patty's website. It's totally up to you, and you can even call Patty yourself and talk to her. She's very willing to talk on the phone, wants to share how wonderful and amazing this is. But I really wouldn't be, whether you get it or not, that doesn't matter to me. I just really wanted to share this with you because I thought it was extraordinary.
no, and we're not out here, on a big sales mission either. This is the first conference I've ever done.
That's
So,
amazing.
I
Yeah,
mean, when I tell you it's referral only, it's only from people like you that use it and go, holy cow,
exactly.
and refer it. And you just happen to be technically savvy, so you're doing a Zoom. But I wanted to finish about the warranty.
Oh, please do.
So if for a technical reason they wanted to send it back, they can send it back. But the only time I've ever had that happen is them freaking out because they want to know how long it's going to take to get it back. That's the honest to God truth. So,
No, I
and
believe it.
even after 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, if the motor dies from using it so much, all you do is send it back to us and we completely rebuild it for $100 and you pay the 25 shipping and we're done.
That's because
So,
occasionally, because it's being in the clinics of people who are using it, they're just using it constantly. So after 5 or 8 years, yeah, the motor might need to be replaced. What she's saying is $100 for them to take the whole thing apart, put it, that's very reasonable, put a new motor in, and then $25 to show $125 after many, many hours of use is what it sounds like.
right. But you got to remember it's technology. And
Hmm.
rarely, I mean, I can probably remember 4 times. It was just a faulty motor, so within a year or two, the motor would go out, or the brushes, or I'm not the mechanical part of it,
Oh, okay.
but we'll stand behind it 100% and get it back to you cheap and fast.
No, I believe that. And you can ship it to Mexico, you can ship it to Canada.
Oh, Canada's terrible. I'm sorry. Um,
Why
I,
is it so, is it tariffs or customs?
customs,
Why is, hmm?
customs.
Customs, okay.
If they know it has anything to do with health, they'll hold it or reject it, or we have to do backflips to get into Canada. We do it, but they're going to need to call me.
Okay, so people can get in contact with you. Well, again, when we do the follow-up, you can see on the website below, you can see magnetex.org. I guess we should share that exact. And then you can also call Patty directly to talk with her. So whatever issues you have, some people, if they live close to the border, they have a way that you can send it to a US address and then they'll forward it over the border into Canada. So maybe people can do something like that.
Yeah, Canada and Greece are the only two countries I've really had a lot of problems with
Oh,
customs.
it's surprising. So, but Mexico really isn't a problem then.
I haven't had a problem so far.
Okay, no, that's great news. And if anybody, whoever gets this over, say the next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, we'll do a special class just for our Genius Magnetex folks, and I'll tell you how I've been using it and give you a class more in education to answer your questions and tell you some protocols how you could start using it. Just because I think it's fantastic and it'll go really well with the energy medicine that you're already doing. So there, I just go back to some of the technical issues. Just is there safe distance? You don't have to use it at a safe distance, use common sense, but you could use it right on the body, right, Patty?
You do use it exact on the body. You rest it on the body. I do have a recommendation though. If you have
Sure.
a grandmother, okay, that just has aches and pains, or you want to use it on her and she's very frail, then I would take a cotton towel and put on her skin, a little bit of a buffer. It's not a rough vibration, guys, like at a chiropractor's office. It's subtle, but elderly skin and elderly bones are fragile. So I would just gently move it across a cotton towel on someone elderly.
That's a good idea. And you can even use it just slightly off the body too, right?
You could do that too,
You could just
but
keep it like right this.
they don't get the feel good of the massage.
Right. You do get a massage from, and you also, because it has the magnetic field, you want to be careful that you want to move your phone and your watch and stuff away, right?
I would.
Yeah, because of the magnetic field. I don't think it's probably likely to damage anything, but just to be on the safe side. Can somebody who's pregnant use it? Just be, I would always, with pregnancy, always want to exercise caution. So maybe not. Can you use it on babies?
I don't see why not.
And probably just keeping it right above them, or using it very sort of that near, maybe just like a half an inch away or something, because they're going to be, it's the field, it's the magnetic field that is affecting the person. So it doesn't have to be a direct contact. Root canal inflammation or dental abscesses. Javis just had every question. That's another one where you probably could do it close by, but maybe not
You wouldn't want
exactly
to,
on
yeah,
it.
if you had a root canal, you wouldn't want to put it on the bone,
Right.
rest it on the skin. But I actually have a testimonial. A dear
Oh,
friend of mine
Ellis, yeah.
had two extractions on her lower jaw, and she was having implants, and she had to wait a certain time before the implants were put in. Well, when she went back, and she was using the Magnetex every day. She's been using the Magnetex for probably 8 or 10 years. Anyway, when she went back for her 2 week checkup or whatever after surgery, the doctor said that she would be able to get implants in half the time of any other patient he'd ever seen. He
That's
said,
really
"What are
incredible.
you doing?" And she wouldn't tell him, because she doesn't tell anybody anything she does energetically or,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, I have direct experience with that. He said he'd never seen anybody heal so fast. And she's in her 70s.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. So the Magnetex, are you familiar with terahertz, what terahertz frequency is?
Yes.
How would you say that these are different? Oh, that's a question in
Totally,
the chat.
totally different field.
Just a different field.
It's a
And
different field. It's a different field. It's like comparing a rifle to a Ferris wheel.
they're just a little totally different.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's totally different.
Okay, I totally understand. Is it good for peripheral neuropathy?
See, when they give me an indication,
I know we can't say we said the whole hour. We can't make any claims, but because it is restorative to the whole energy field, because you're entraining the energy of that toroidal field, it's very likely it will improve it. Although we can't say. You're going to have to try it and see it for yourself what it does for you.
you don't it normally you do not know what is causing your symptom.
Hmm.
You can name a symptom, okay?
Hmm.
Peripheral neuropathy. Well, what's the root cause of that? It might be 10 different things.
Mm.
And your doctors and your medical professionals have never been taught root cause.
Hmm.
They
So
don't look
true.
for a cause, they treat a symptom. So, one thing about the Magnetex I can say is we're not treating anything, but we're
Hmm.
not going after a symptom.
Hmm.
Okay. I think the body is an amazing vehicle.
Hmm.
So we just want to enhance and help and nurture the body to do what it knows how to do.
That's the thing is the body is a self-healing mechanism and it's actually trying to heal us all day long. It's like got this incredible force that can heal actually infections, can resolve tumors, can do all of these things. Of course, we're not told that, right? It always has to come from the outside. It's always about what will inspire your body to heal, what will set up those conditions for your body to heal. And I believe in training or being exposed to this toroidal field is something that's going to set your body up for profound healing.
I think we've seen the results of that.
Hmm.
And for your people here who are frequency savvy and they know who Dr. Nina Silver is, many of them might have read the Right Frequency Handbook. Um, in her home, she virtually has every machine known to man.
I
Okay,
believe it.
so
Yeah, I believe it.
everybody sends her free machines,
Yep.
and she knows most of the people that make them. I mean, because she's out there. This book she sells is what 2-3 inches thick, sells
I
for
have,
100.
yeah, I have that. I have that book. It's incredible. And that's where I read about this, you guys. That's is in Nina Silver's book. There's something I was reading a whole bunch of Rife frequencies and I was reading some of the things that she's written about healing. And it said, oh, and use the Magnetex for lymphatic, for lymphatic drainage or to improve the lymphatic detox. And as soon as I saw the name Magnetex, I had to call you. It stirred something in me that really motivated me to get in touch with you and want to obtain this technology. It must have been totally intuitive.
Well, she's very, very picky and she's very, very accurate.
Hmm.
And
I think I felt that as well. That she wouldn't be
yes,
recommending something unless it was something
no.
special. Yeah.
And she and her family, including the dogs, use the Magnetex every day.
Oh, really? And with the dogs, is it something you just do close contact? Because it would be hard to get it onto their, does she do it on their fur? Like how does she use it?
Well, yeah, she just, they let her do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have a German Shepherd and a pit bull, and the pit bull, the minute I turn it on, hightails it, but the German Shepherd will beg for it.
Wow,
So
that's amazing. That's great.
I've used it on horses.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. And we had horses that would, be hesitant about it, and then we had horses that would beg for it.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So we're actually wanting to create a whole series of, well, a new type of Magnetex for horses because animals respond so quickly.
That's
I,
incredible.
I
That's
think it's
incredible.
because we have in our mind certain things that
Right.
should happen, and we
Right.
probably block ourselves from certain things happening doing that. But in an animal, it's just like, okay, and it just happens with them.
That's really cool. So we'll take any final questions. The Nina's book title is The Rifing Book, The Rifing Handbook.
The
We've talked
Rife
about it in class
Frequency
before.
Handbook. Yes,
What's
and she
that? Yeah.
has a new one she just published.
Oh, what is, and what is it called?
Same thing, Rife Frequency Handbook,
Oh, so a new edition of it. She
a
probably
new
said.
edition. I
Yeah.
think it's the sixth edition.
Okay. I've got one of the editions. So listen, this is usually a $1,200, which I think is very reasonably priced. And we did just arrange for a couple of days to do a special link where we make it available for 1150. And thank you so much, Patty, for working with us. We just wanted the Genius community to be able to get it at just something that would inspire you to do it by saving the $50. But if you don't get it in the next couple of days and you're putting it on the list, you can still use our link, or at least just let Patty know when you get it that we referred you or inspired you to get it. And you can see the website below, the magnetex.org. And like I said, you can get in touch with Patty and ask her any other questions that we didn't get answered today. You seem like someone who's just so, in the flow of a frequency technology. I'm like so happy to know you and be connected to you.
Well, I love it. And I don't know if you have any nurses
Mm-hmm. Oh,
in your
sure.
group.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The machine you were talking about that has the charging plate or the cup or whatever.
Yeah.
You said that a lot of y'all use that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell y'all that I worked with a Russian medical team for 3 years that were fixing all sorts of indications, I'll say,
Yep.
by doing it's not called diagnosis, but where you go through and
Mhm.
you find the weaknesses in the body.
Yep.
Then you do the homeopathics with your charging pad.
Yep.
They
That's
took,
similar to what we do.
they took saline IVs and laid them on the pad and charged the saline. Miracles happened.
That's actually, so you could actually take this, right? And you could just run it over a glass of water and it'll be imbued with that toroidal field, right?
You could, but I was more thinking about just putting that out there for the technology that you all have.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
you see what I mean? There's another application to that.
Well, no, explain. I'm kind of missing it.
Okay, so um, once you do your testing and you find out the body's weaknesses,
That's
right?
what we do. Yeah.
Okay, then you have a charging station, right? That'll do a remedy to it, correct?
We have a plate where we'll put the frequencies in that they need. Uh-huh.
Okay. So if you have someone that's really not doing well,
Mm-hmm.
you do the test on them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take a saline IV bag. That's why I asked if you had nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Paramedics, any of
Mm-hmm.
that. You take a saline IV bag, you
Mm-hmm.
put it on your charging unit
Okay.
and charge it with the remedies to what it found was wrong with them, and you IV them immediately.
Okay, very
It
cool.
is
Okay.
extremely powerful.
Wow. Okay, well, we're gonna have to put that in our bag of tricks. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm just giving you another tool for your tool belt.
Okay, I totally understand that. All right, Patty, it's been so wonderful. Thank you. Check out magnetex.org, and I know we'll probably have Patty back at some point in the future, have another talk with her. But Patty, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
I've loved it. And, just if y'all have any questions, just feel free to call me. I'm just Patty. I'm not.
She's very willing to talk and share, and that was just lovely to have that conversation with you.
We've got to help heal the world, guys, whatever
I
it takes,
absolutely agree.
you know.
I absolutely agree.
Well, I've enjoyed it. And thank you so much for inviting me. As y'all can tell, I'm not a professional podcaster.
You did great. No, you did great. Absolutely fantastic, Patty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ariel. Y'all have a marvelous day.
You too. You too. I loved it. I really enjoyed talking with Patty today. I hope you enjoyed learning about it. I love finding that a magnetic type of coil or setup that can run the toroidal field. That's been the most exciting discovery. So it will work nicely with your genius frequencies. Like I said, you can use this. You could just put on your list of something you want to get in the future. If you want to get in the next 2 days, it'll have the $50 off. Otherwise, you can go to magnetex.org, and you can also contact Patty at the phone number on her website and or email her. So I hope everybody has enjoyed the presentation today, and we'll be back next week to talk more about the Genius and other frequency and energy technologies. I hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I will post this on my YouTube channel as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.